Hey guys, it's me back with Dax back with another quick message. This one is answering a question from Bernie Gibson. Bernie says, Dax, I'm struggling with seeing, smelling, and then eating. Work canteen is full of not healthy foods, chips, fries, and who knows what else. My problem is if I see this food, I just pick at it. Sausage, one or two chips, etc. I'm prepared now to bring my own lunch and would avoid the canteen, but it's the only place with a kettle. Or if I bring food needing to be eaten, it's the only place with a microwave. Regardless, if I'm at work, it's the same as a buffet style thing or anywhere else where there's food on display. If I see it, I'll eat it. Any tips on how not to do this? I do try to wait or to leave, but my brain wants it and it won't give up until it gets it, and my body hates me for it. I know it's a habit and can be broken. I'm just wondering if you or anyone else had any tips to help. Yes, I do. Weird that, huh? Look, I think a lot of this comes down to it comes down to habituation. And habituation it can be our friend, but it can also be our foe. It can be one of these things that really set us up for a lot of struggles, because simply when we get into certain environments, we run the habit. Epictetus kind of quoted this: "Whatever you would make habitual, practice it. And if you would not make a let me start that again. Whatever you would make habitual, practice it. And if you would not make a thing habitual, do not practice it, but habituate yourself to something else," right? And I think that really summarizes the whole thing, and that's really what we're trying to do with the program at the moment. We're trying to set in place new habits, okay? Habituate to something else. Now, one of the biggest problems is that people often are going in, remember we've set up these kind of reconnaissance, right? The idea of rehearsing, like, what's it like, what happens next, what do I think, what do I feel, what am I saying to myself, what are my emotions? Okay, well, if you are moving into a known enemy territory, the reconnaissance becomes that much more important. We don't just move straight from where we are to, okay, well, I need to go to the canteen because that's where they've got a kettle and a microwave. I'll talk about microwaves later, right? Because they're not the best thing for you at all. But certainly, just staying on topic at the moment, if you are moving into the battlefield, so to speak, to stick with this analogy, doesn't it make sense to check over your recon again before you even go back in there? Recon should include, okay, what am I currently feeling? What am I thinking? What am I doing? What am I saying? Right? When you get in there, when you kind of meet that sausage or those chips or those fries or whatever it is, there must be, there's no ifs or buts about this, there must be a different set of conversations that start to take place, where you start to say, well, just one won't hurt, for example. You start to feel something. Maybe that feeling is deprivation. Maybe it's something else, right? But you start to think a different thing, do a different thing, say a different thing, act a different way, right? All of these different things are coming together. Your job then is to preempt that before you go out there. Okay, I know that I have a temptation around these things. What is the best way that I can deal with this? And the best way you can deal with it, I think, is to spend some time in reminding yourself how you want to feel, how you want to think. Okay, talk to yourself about what these things mean. Okay, if I eat those chips, that means this to my goals, to my journey, to my experience. If I consume these things, this is what it means. Okay, and the more you rehearse, the more you habituate a new set of stories, and the more you habituate a new set of meanings for the things that are happening whenever you go out to the canteen, the less likely you are to run into them, right? Okay, I'm about to go into the canteen because that's where the kettle is. When I'm out there, I'm going to get tempted by chips, but I know that if I eat those chips, for example, I am setting myself back on my journey, or I'm breaking a promise to myself, or I'm making the consumption of that particular foodstuff more important than my happiness later on. Okay, remind yourself about what the thing means, as opposed to just kind of hoping to willpower your way through it. Willpower is the weakest of tools. Okay, it's the weakest of tools. That's kind of like saying, pretend it doesn't matter, pretend it doesn't matter, pretend. Well, we're not saying it doesn't matter. We're not saying that the feelings that you currently have for chips and all those other foods don't matter. But what we're saying is you're reminding yourself of something that matters to you more. I hope that makes sense, right? So this is the key of moving into any environment, whether it's parties, whether it's going out for drinks, whether it's anything, okay? Reminding yourself what matters to you more, as opposed to what the thing means. But then you can also look at what the thing means. If I consume this, it means taking away from what matters to me more. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and I hope that gives you a little bit more of an edge on, you know, kind of some of these kind of feelings that you're getting whenever you get into these enemy combat environments. They are trainable, right? They're completely trainable, but they're not trainable if we just go into them and hope for the best, or we go into them and we say, you know what, today I'm going to exercise willpower. Willpower is pretty much crap. Okay, willpower doesn't work, and it just sets you up for a life of suffering where you're always in kind of combat with yourself, and you're always losing, right? Willpower says, here's a bunch of stuff that I want to do, but don't let yourself do it. Or here's a bunch of stuff you don't want to do, but make yourself do it, right? That is not a good way to live. Instead, remind yourself about what it is that you want out of your life experience. And whether that life experience be the meal that you're about to eat, whether it be something else, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you yourself are in control of it. Hope that makes sense, and take care.